And this is the end of Gojo Saturo's story. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 261 spoilers open with Yuji Itadori planning to crush Sukuna's heart. In response, Sukuna began preparing his domain when he saw Satoru Gojo standing in front of him. Sukuna was in disbelief, but soon realized that it wasn't Gojo. He praised the person in question, addressing them as Yuta Akotsu. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 261 spoilers then switched to a flashback that saw Rika devouring Kenjaku to copy his cursed technique, allowing Yuta to change bodies. Maki was against this plan. As for Hikari, he wanted the plan as a final resort. That's when Kusakabe asked Shoko Ieri about the possibility of copying Limitless or Six Eyes. Unfortunately, as per Shoko, Limitless was useless without Six Eyes, and Six Eyes being a part of Gojo's physical body could not be copied. Maki was worried about Yuta and asked him about the aftermath of copying Kenjaku's CT, as the sorcerer could only copy a technique for 5 minutes, while Yuta was clueless. Mai theorized that there was a chance that Yuta would have to forever live in Gojo's body. Yuta was fine with the plan being his last resort. However, other sorcerers weren't too fond of it, as even Kusakabe believed that it was not humane. Yuta immediately retorted, as there was no point in trying to be humane while fighting the history's strongest jujutsu sorcerer. He then asked others if they were afraid of becoming a monster to fight Sukuna. Maki rebuked Yuta, saying that everyone was just concerned about him. But Yuta couldn't care less, as everyone had been pushing Satoru Gojo to take on the burden of being a monster. Thus, if Gojo were to die, he was ready to become the monster. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 261 spoilers switched to another scene that saw Yuta telling Gojo about his plan to steal his body. Gojo was fine with the plan, as he had no intention of losing and did not care what happened to his body after his demise. Yuta and Gojo then begin discussing their descent. Yuta was a descendant of the Fujiwara blood, but Gojo had told him that he was of Sugawara descent. Gojo then asked his students to go away because he did not want them to see a bloody side, especially since he did not know if what he was about to do was right or wrong. Yoshinobu Gakuganji would stand at the top of Jujutsu headquarters. He told Yuta that if he were to lose to Ryam and Sukuna, and all the older sorcerers were to perish. If that happens, there would not be any more chaos like the post-Shibuya incident right after. Yuta asked Gojo not to become a monster by himself again. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 261 spoilers again switched scenes, as Yuji's friend could be seen explaining his CT. He could amplify the sugar within himself and output it in some way. Again switched scene as Yuta was cut in half due to Sukuna's slash. Hence, he was rushed to the medical ward. Fortunately, Arata used his CT in time to prevent Yuta's wounds from getting worse. That's when Shoko instructed Yuta about his next actions. She had already stitched up Gojo's corpse. Thus, after Yuta switched his body using Kenjaku's
cursed technique,
he needed to use the reverse cursed technique at max capacity to complete Gojo's body. Switched back to the present as both Sukuna and Yuta Akotsu in Gojo's body opened their domains. The narrator stated that Gojo had already shown the solution to Sukuna's open barrier domain. The chapter ended with Sukuna using the Malevolent Shrine and Yuta using Gojo's Unlimited Void. Honestly, I don't know what should I say. The only question is what will happen after 5 minutes.